rustic 3 cheese sausage lasagna, 800 calories, 44 grams of protein, 70 grams of carbs, 1,800 milligrams of sodium. Holy shit.
We are in Santa Barbara, California for the Rafayomp Rally. I haven't Googled what Yomp is, if it's anything, so I kind of just wanted to, find out.
Literally born out of like all of the good things that I've experienced in ultra races that I've done, and trying to just like focus on those good elements and remove the things that like I didn't quite care for.
Yeah, I don't really see any clear path where I went from a downhiller to like a bike pack event person. I don't think that's like a very common thing. I think the idea of bike packing and like doing these days in a row makes me pretty uncomfortable, so therefore I want to try it. I think we're almost doing 14,000 meters of climbing. And so I want to do that over 3 days. It's a lot.
We're gonna do a little talk about the event, the ride.
A lot of what you're riding has a lot of heritage, and I'm just kind of like one dash in a line. It's a Sisyphean effort to kind of just constantly rebuild this stuff, because we're probably going to be doing after this winter.
The storm has certainly dealt a crushing blow, not just to this area, but up and down the coast.
No time like the present.
This is it.
It's like for show, really.
Already gone like 800 meters. The sunscreen I put on isn't keeping me warm. So we climbed up Gibraltar, and then that's when we hit kind of like the first dirt segment. Had some like washouts, so like you would like rip a section, come around, and then it'd be like just crazy. This whole road has just like disappeared. Eating my thick stack of ham from this morning. Bought these beef tamales. Strapped up. Honestly, I'm having way more fun than I thought I would. 16K, 1,100 meters to the top. It felt good to, after having to like do all that climbing and like hiking, to then be able to spin the legs a bit and kind of like sit in. I don't want to do it anymore. 15K. Fuck. Hope it's not uphill. Fuck. At 180K, I didn't think I could do it. But at 180K, I had nowhere to sleep, so. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Made it to camp. I was stoked. Like, the idea of doing 212 kilometers and like, I think it was 4,900 meters was like pretty crazy for me to do in a day, I think. And at that time, I was like so optimistic. I was like, oh, like I made day one. For sure I can for sure I can do this in 3 days. Like this was probably like the biggest day. And I was like super wrong. Waking up at the base of the Sierra Madres, I had done 212 kilometers the day before. I only had to do 186 today with less climbing, you know? It should have been easy. I think like maybe an hour or so in, I kind of realized I was like, okay, yeah, today is going to be way more gravel, so I am going to be going a lot slower than yesterday. And then I'd say probably an hour after the water dropped, the road started getting a lot worse. It was getting a lot hotter out. I was drinking a lot of water, couldn't find more water. And I was kind of like, oh, this road, like, it's getting worse and worse. And you know, you see on the news that they've had all these really big storms, huge floods this winter. It's pretty crazy seeing the damage. Was just maybe like a blip in a moment on our news screen, but it is like very much affected this whole area. Middle 30K, absolutely sucked. I kind of hated it. They're so bumpy. My butt, my wrists. But this part's pretty sick. I started like bombing down like the trail you're on, and then you just went around the corner and just started hitting these like post holes from cattle, like an extra high rumble strip. And it was like that for, it must have been like an hour or more. And it was only 50K and it had taken me so long to get there. I am not gonna make it to Carpinteria. Hopefully I can make it to Santa Barbara. I'm almost at the top. And then it's just a huge descent. It'll be easy once I get to the top. I was like, it's gonna get dark and I'm gonna get trapped on the highest point of this mountain where it's so cold. Started riding maybe like 50, 100 meters into this descent, come around the corner, huge washout. And then that's when I realized that the descent was gonna take almost as long as the climb. And eventually, yeah, it got dark. My phone died and I was like, okay, I need to like plug it into my power bank so I can like tell Graham where I am and everything. Like pulled over and I was like, oh man, I like feel pretty nauseous. And then like next thing I know, I'm like on my hands and knees, like throwing up like pool water and like gel. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna sleep here. Like, I didn't make it off the mountain. It was so hard. Really thought I could ride more of hunkered down. So, drastically underestimated my day two. So I kind of had to like re-plan the whole rest of the ride because I had made a pretty set plan on doing it on 3 days. And so I made the plan to make it to my friend McKay's house in Newberry Park. Kind of mapped it out. I was like, all right, so that's another 200-kilometer day. And I was like, I'm off the mountain. I was like so happy to be off that mountain. Oh, coming unglued. And again, it was like a big day. I can't remember how many hours it took me, maybe 15 hours or something. Oh, so tired. Oh. Okay. Oh yeah. So yeah, when I got to McKay's, I was like, I can do this. You know, like this is like, the end is in sight, whereas kind of before that, it really Like, I knew I was gonna do it, but it didn't feel possible yet.
My other socks are so crusty. So these are slightly less crusty.
Okay, bye. The last day, I was really just like, I was just stoked. I was like, I don't really care how long it takes me, because I know that like 100K I'm not gonna be riding at night, you know? And that's kind of like the thing that you're trying to always like budget for, is like, where do I get food? When does the light run out? Things like that. And so the last day was pretty like worry-free. Still 100K, still gonna take me like 6 hours or something. But it's only 6 hours. Started fantasizing about different foods I want. But yeah, final stretch for real. Just moments when I had my fully loaded bike and I was just jogging like up these super sandy things, because I was just like, I can't get stuck here. You know, I don't think I've ever pushed myself that hard. We did it. Santa Monica. Who knew that riding through Santa Monica was gonna be the sketchiest part? And I think it was cool because it was so hard for everyone, and it just pushed everyone to do something kind of that they're proud of, but it didn't matter how quickly you did it. You know, the whole time I had the idea of like, really want to do it in 3 days, but the fact that I didn't do it in 3 days didn't matter. You know, like I didn't like lose a race. No one felt bad about themselves after this event, that everyone accomplished something pretty amazing.
Yeah, Yomp it's like a British term from the Royal Marines. It was basically like a slang term for like these long military marches where they would carry all of their stuff.